Chapter 7 Summary, Conversation with God, Book 1. Chapter 7 dives deep into what it truly means to be at the spiritual game. It strips spirituality of its fluff and challenges conventional beliefs by presenting a God that is nothing like the neurotic, angry, jealous figure we've been taught to worship. Instead, the divine is positioned as an ever-present, non-judgmental force whose highest desire is our own self-realization, to see ourselves as God, to create ourselves in the image and likeness of God through conscious thought, intention, and choice. One of the most profound revelations of this chapter is that you are not responsible for any other soul's journey. While compassion and kindness are encouraged, each soul is on its own path and making its own choices in every moment. That truth is a spiritual mic drop. It flies in the face of guilt-based religious programming. God says plainly, you always get what you create, and you are always creating. There is no need to plead or beg. You're not at the mercy of a moody deity picking and choosing who gets blessings. You are the architect of your life. Your reality reflects your beliefs and your thoughts about it.
The idea of a punitive, condemning God is exposed for what it is, a human invention designed to justify the control mechanisms of organized religion. Hell, as described here, is not some fiery punishment after death. It's simply not knowing who you really are. The chapter flips traditional leadership on its head with a revolutionary definition of greatness. A true master creates more masters. A true leader empowers others to lead. A true king leads others to their own royalty. A true God makes gods of others. This is the glory of God, not dominion, but empowerment. The ultimate divine act is service. The message lands with both boldness and grace. Your happy destiny is unavoidable. You cannot mess this up. Even in your struggle, you are blessed. Even in your confusion, you are becoming. When you reside in your God space, that deep inner knowing, you begin to see life for what it really is, a temporary experience, not a permanent struggle. The weight lifts. You no longer ask, why is this happening to me? But rather, what am I creating and how can I remember who I am through this? This chapter doesn't just offer answers. It challenges everything we've accepted without question, and in doing so, invites us to wake up to our own divine potential. So the first thing that comes to me here is that people are automatically going to say, we're not gods, and they're going to kind of argue with them. And I think the thing that really needs to be understood here is that we are basically, God created us to be able to, for him to have these experiences through us. So really you can't argue that point, because if we are, like, I think I've said this even before, like we're a drop in the ocean and God is the ocean, then that means we are a piece of God. We are operating as him, and we have supernatural abilities, whether people want to believe it or not.
Well, absolutely. And stress that people put behind the word, or they by saying I am God, I mean, it's this extreme thought that you're just saying that I am the deity, not just I am part of the deity. I am part of God, just like everything we are, everything we consume, everything we breathe. So in that way, when you look at it, it's like, how could we not be? How can we not be a presence here on earth, having a soul's journey, and our experiences all being extensions of God?
Another thing that sticks out to me in here is talking about hell, right? And we've talked about heaven before. And whenever you talk about hell, I believe that people either create their own hell on earth or they create their own heaven on earth. I don't think of heaven as this place where we're going to be flying around and floating in the clouds. And I don't think that hell is a place where we're going to see the devil and be on fire half the time, right? So it's more like, just what are you creating? That's my question for the people that are listening to this. What are you creating? Are you creating hell while you're here? Or are you creating a beautiful, peaceful, heavenly life while you're here and truly enjoying the miracle that life is?
Well, absolutely. And not to say that you haven't come here, or you have come here for an experience. And that experience may be being born a certain way, with a certain condition, a certain affliction, having some sort of experience in your life where you get sick and something happens to you. And it's that experience, that contrast that comes with that experience that you understand more about, and I think your soul understands more God understands more. It's the connection to all, that each of us having these experiences, negative or positive, and finding our ways to make that a heavenly experience and to make the best of it. I mean, and I think we've talked a number of times about, somebody that's born with an affliction versus somebody that's gone through their life, being fully functional, maybe losing an arm, losing their sight, whatever it may be, and each of those being an experience that somebody was meant to have. But, somebody being born without their eyesight, they find their heaven on earth more than likely in a much easier way, because, they're born that way, and they have to grow up and they learn in that mode, whereas somebody that, loses an arm, a leg, whatever it may be, maybe struggling a little bit more to find that. And maybe not. I mean, obviously there are different scenarios, but...
Well, I think there's plenty of people that are, they came here to have that experience. I've heard so many people talk. They're like the keynote speakers, right, at different things, that they are talking about how they overcame something. Well, that's exactly what their soul came here to experience. So having this, feeling sorry for them is not what they want. It is literally them remembering who they are and creating this beautiful message to be able to spread to other people. Well, look what I did. I have no legs now, and look what I've accomplished in life. And so whenever you can look at it from a different vantage point, you don't have that pity for them anymore. It's more of a, oh, that's cool. You came here to experience this, and maybe in the next life you came here to experience something completely different. So I think one of the things I really like about this chapter is how it talks about a true master creates more masters. I think that once you get to a place in life where you have, you've started to remember, you are, getting on this spirituality journey, that is basically our divine message to send while we are here, is to create more people like us, to create a message that is spread exponentially through other people. And I think that that's literally, if you could define your life's purpose, it is to spread that divine message of remember that you're never alone, that God is always with you and he's working through you to have these experiences.
Yes. And what's the alternative to that? And I think we're going to say this, we have said this, we'll probably say it through multiple chapters we've gone forward, having, thinking back to all the readings we've done since. So, but the alternative is essentially looking at everything in such a negative, downtrodden way that, having read these books and getting into these chapters, it is a reminder that there is an alternative way to look at things that doesn't hurt anybody, that just, it doesn't impact them in any way, shape, or form.
So I think that, just the last part of this chapter is, people are thinking, well, why is this happening to me? Well, maybe ask yourself, why is this happening for me? What is the learning lesson? And I really challenge, anyone listening to this that, challenge your, typical religious beliefs a little bit and see how this message feels in your body. If it doesn't feel good, turn it off. But if it feels good and it feels like it might be the real, true way to really find yourself and have this amazing experience like we're having, then if it feels good, listen to the next chapter summary, or go get a copy of Conversations with God. Start reading.
Yeah, what can it hurt?
It's a beautiful message. That's the end of chapter 7.